We all know Ford is capable of making extremely interesting and very fun cars to drive, and today I'm here to determine whether this 2018 Ford Fiesta is one of many great cars produced by Ford. The exterior look separates it from its predecessors with these wide, a lot wider and kind of longer headlights on the front, and with this kind of mesh grille here, which is, it gives it a kind of, it looks like it's got its mouth open, which is a bit interesting. At the rear, new light clusters add a touch of flair to the design, along with this spoiler which gives it a nice sporty hot hatchbacky look, and you've got the red eye on the Fiesta badge. This model, equipped with 15-inch steel rims, is the cheapest choice, but if you're looking for some more style and braking power, you can upgrade them to alloy rims ranging from 16, 17 and 18-inch rims. Although its price is on the cheaper side of things, starting at €15,000, it definitely doesn't feel like a cheap interior here, although there are some mistakes here. As you can see, the steering wheel has kind of come apart in places after like 100,000 kilometers. One of the buttons on the window is broken off. This has been kind of rubbed off, so it doesn't feel plasticky, but these buttons and these are really cheap feeling. But like the steering wheel and the seats and this infotainment system, it's all very well made, and it suggests it's worth more than what they ask for. The chunky steering wheel definitely adds to the sporty experience, which is really good, and it's a super fun car to drive. You've got a 6-speed manual gearbox with the shift being very short, which is obviously good for the driving experience, and it's a very nice, if someone out there has driven a Ford Fiesta, which some of you probably have, it's very pleasant and it's very good. It really works well with the car. You've got the lock here, some nice door handles, and all the electric windows, which are also automatic, all 4 of them. The speedo here shows the rev counter on one side and the oil temperature and how much fuel you've got left in the speedo, and you've got a digital dash in the middle showing you all sorts of different useful things which you can scroll with this button. Also on the steering wheel, you can set the cruise control. It is not adaptive, however, which is a bit of a shame. One thing I miss about the center console is the armrest, which I cannot get used to. I find myself always elbowing into the emptiness of these very functional, very good sized cup holders, which you've got 1, 2, 3 of, with a USB port here and some buttons to set different things on the car, like eco mode, traction control, and the start stop. You've got a compartment here which is good for, as you can see, remote controls, but it is a bit annoying when you let down the handbrake. It's kind of tough to get your hand in there. Also, a 12-volt charger here, a USB port there, and more storage space. You've got buttons for the climate control, which luckily aren't operable from the screen. However, the screen is pretty good. It's not very responsive. It's all right. Pairing is easy, and you've got Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, but we have had some issues connecting it with the cables. It's a bit slow. Sometimes it lags and it doesn't work properly, but most of the time it's fine. Above your head, you've got some very nice sun visors which open like that, and a mirror which doesn't have a light, sadly, and a very simple center thing here with a light that you can turn on when the doors turn on, open, or just leave it off or on. And this mirror, which is a rear view mirror. Decently sized door bins at the front means you can fit a perfectly good sized water bottle, and even have storage to space. As you can see, loads of room down there. Very well done. Under the hood, a 1-litre 3-cylinder petrol engine, helped out by a single turbocharger, gives it 100 horsepower, well 99 to be exact. It's not a fast engine, it doesn't have a lot of horses in it, but it is very comfortable and very quiet and very sensible. If you cruise on the motorway at 130 kph, the cabin noise is absolutely nothing, and the engine feels like it's getting along totally fine. Obviously at higher speeds, 140, 150 kph, which you shouldn't be going unless you're in Germany, it will suffer. This is not a car for people who want to go that fast. A big issue with the Fiestas and Kias and all sorts of cars with this engine in it is the wet belt has a tendency to disintegrate around 90 or 100,000 kilometers. That would be fine if the service would require for it to be changed at 80,000 kilometers, but sadly it only gets changed at 110, which means about 75% of these cars suffer with that issue. So have we on our way to our skiing trip, and it is a pain in the bum. You really want to be careful if you're buying a used one to ask if it's been changed already, because you don't want to be paying the big bucks to get it replaced. If you experience this issue on your own car, it is the best and most important thing to stop straight away, because if you don't stop straight away, it could totally demolish your whole engine and your turbocharger, which basically means the whole car could just be written off and you can go through the pain of having to buy a new car. Anyways, enough of the bad talk. It sounds like this. Crispy! The sun is shining very hard in my eyes, but the boot in this car is pretty decently sized for its competitors. It is not huge, and there is an issue with it that for us, the kind of soft closing of the boot has been broken, and as you will hear, it kind of just slams down, which is not very nice. But let's see if I will fit. Ouch! That is perfect. We do have a big loading lip, which could be an issue, but apart from that, it is perfect for children to sit in here. In the back, it is by no means a ballroom. It's not very big. Knee room is very limited, as you can see. The seat is quite far back, and I am quite tall, but it's still not amazing. You do have some pockets down here. Headspace is kind of all right. It's not anything special, but you don't have any grabby handles, which has been very difficult for me to accept in this car. Electric and automatic window openers, and a door handle and door bins down here, which you can also fit a water bottle in. Sadly, the Fiesta, the normal version, hasn't been blessed with huge amounts of power, but it's enough to make it feel nippy in second gear. It will do 0 to 100 in about 9.4 seconds. Probably it's going to be closer to 10. 0 to 60 on this bad boy, as I've said, around 10 seconds. Let's have a look. 3, 2, 1, go. That's 100. Off the line it felt quite quick, and in second gear especially it really does pull quite well, but when you get up to about 60 or 70 kph it's pretty slow. But I mean, what do you expect? It sounds quite good, to be honest. You can probably hear that on the recording, which I like. But yeah, anyways, it's perfect for driving around town and cruising on the motorway. It's not a performance car, it's not meant to be very fast, but it's plenty enough power for someone who doesn't really need speed and power. I mean, who doesn't need it, but some people don't. The steering wheel is really well weighted, and it kind of makes you relish any corners coming up. It's super fun to drive, and the steering, it feels really darty as well. It's extremely responsive is what I'm trying to say, which makes it really fun around bends and curvy roads. But it's definitely a fun car to drive, and you can feel the, oh goodness me, if we're on the topic of potholes, the suspension is pretty good. It's not amazing. It doesn't swallow the holes without you even noticing them, but it's all right. It's nothing to write home about. Around town, you definitely don't feel like you need more power. It's plenty. It can get you out of roundabouts really quickly. It'll get you off the line pretty quickly. It's perfectly fine, and you don't feel like, oh no, I need another 20, 30, 40, 100 horsepower, because it's fine. It's all you need. And I think in this class, in this price range, it is the best car you can get. Like, it doesn't get any better than Fiestas, and I think things that show that are, for example, it's the most sold car in Britain, and it's one of the most sold cars in the world, and the Fiesta ST is widely considered the best hot hatchback that you can get, as it is manual, it's got a great noise, it's a proper driver's car, and it's kind of a more soft and gentle version of that fierceness that the Fiesta ST has to it. But I really love this car, and I think it's a brilliant buy, and it's definitely something you should consider if you're looking to buy a hot hatch or just a hatch for the family. For the price, I do think it's the best in its class. Like, the cabin isn't particularly airy, it's not a huge space to be in, but the light is pretty good in here, the visibility is great, the mirrors are in places you can see all around the car with no problem. And also something I can really compliment is these seats, because they're nothing special, they're just the standard seats. But I've had multiple very long journeys in these without getting up. Like, for example, going skiing. Oh yeah, you can go skiing with this car. It fits. Things fit in this car. It's a bit of a faff, but you can get in here to go skiing. Anyways, so the seats are very comfortable and they work very well. They're not sports seats, they're just for comfort and all and out comfort, and they are absolutely brilliant. On the motorway, the cabin noise isn't too bad, as I've already said before. It's quite good actually. It's very well insulated. You do have a bit of noise, obviously. It's not a Rolls Royce, but it can keep the speed up no problem, and the car feels very stable, which is great, because when we went skiing and this broke down, we got a Hyundai i30 estate car, and it felt so incredibly wobbly, and I just didn't feel secure in it. And in this car, it's so much better. It's so much more like put together, and it feels really good. So I can definitely recommend it for road trips as well. Also, a really weird issue that we've had with it since we got it, since it was brand new, if the temperature is slightly too cold, like around 0 degrees, 2 degrees, minus degrees, most certainly, the windows won't roll up and down properly. Like, you'll press it to go down and it'll start going up, and then when you press it to go up, it'll start going down, and it's just all over the place. And it's pretty funny, but when you're freezing cold and you want to pull up the window, it's not the nicest thing to have to deal with. But I guess I'm not sure if it's like this on all the cars. Leave some feedback in the comments down below if you've got any info on this, but it's a very interesting phenomena. You've got parking sensors all around the car which beep obviously when you get close to something, and you've got a wicked parking camera that will show you where you're going backwards, and it can park in for yourself, as I will demonstrate now. It has found a spot for itself. It says release steering wheel, shift to reverse, drive backwards, prepare to stop. And that is how you make a car park into its space. So this is a car for maybe a smaller family, and you can even have some Fiesta fun on it with some twisty roads around England or Hungary. It's absolutely brilliant. The insulation is great, and I can really recommend it if you've got that kind of budget. You're looking for a small hatchback. If you need some more power, definitely go for the ST model, while there are some non-ST models which are slightly more powerful. But overall, if you enjoyed that, make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.